Welcome everyone to the live stream. Uh, Commanders going to the playoffs. Never thought I would say that again in a while. But the first time with this regime, so there's a little bit of hope. I'm not alone to discuss this. I got Ed Oliver with me. Thank you very much for doing this. It's been a while actually. I think I was on your channel like 5 months ago. Like, I'm not even 5 months ago. I think it was when the schedule came out.
Yeah, no, it has. I mean, we definitely. I gotta get you on, but no, thanks for having me on, man. It's about time, especially this crazy season, 12 wins, man. It's been a heck of a ride, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the playoffs, man. I can't wait till Sunday night.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. And speaking of the playoffs, at least on my channel's end, I typically, because I like to branch out and spread the love to the other teams. Some of them deserve it, some of them don't, but that's what I've built my channel around. So I will be covering Ravens Steelers in the hopes that my power doesn't get knocked out because supposedly there's supposed to be another snowstorm coming. But if I have power, I'll be live streaming with my guy Aaron. He should be joining us for that stream. I'm definitely streaming Commanders Bucks for sure, and then we're streaming the Monday Night Football game. So those are the three streams that are planned, at least for my channel. Um, Make sure you guys sub Ed up. Unfortunately, though, his channel is he's unfortunately unable to post, but he will have his stuff back on Tuesday. But make sure to also the link is in the description. But also check him out on uh, Commanders Kings podcast. The link of that is also in the description. He's putting his thoughts in on that channel as well. So make sure you guys check that out. So with that, let's talk about what have been your impressions of this season? We discussed a little bit about it where it was we never thought that Washington would be 12 wins. I mean, I thought that at most 8 or 9 wins, just because Dan Quinn was that wild card. We didn't know what Jaden Daniels was gonna be, and he's basically now a franchise guy and basically one of the guys that are feared on the NFC side. So what were your takeaways from the season and Jaden Daniels as a whole?
Oh man, we're ahead of schedule. The recalibration is off to a great start. I mean, when you find a franchise quarterback in Gene Daniels, that's a huge win. Yeah, 12 wins. I did not expect that. I know the over under was 6.5, and we doubled that. And compared to last year, we had 4 wins last year. We had the worst defense. You had to clear out the whole staff, new front office with Adam Peters, new head coach. So there's a lot of moving parts. And we brought a lot of guys in on 1 year deals, like Austin or Bobby Wagner on a 1 year deal, a bunch of guys on a 1 year deal in free agency. So for us to go 12-5 is just an insane run from the Hail Mary to the Bengals game on Monday Night Football. That was a huge win, huge plays by Jaden Daniels, where he put the world on notice. To beating the Eagles like that, and beating I already brought up the Hail Mary, but so many huge wins that the Sunday Night Football game to beat the Falcons, where overtime the pass to Zach Ertz. I mean, Jaden Daniels has really put the team on his back numerous times, and you just see the team camaraderie and the chemistry and the chemistry that we built. And even Adam Schefter said that other players want to come to the Commanders and play for the Commanders. And now we got
Mhm.
Marshawn Lattimore here. So there's just a lot of good things going here, man. You got a franchise quarterback, Gene Daniels, who's going to win Rookie of the Year and certainly earned it. And he's only going to get better and better and better. So I mean, this has been the best season to watch, man, in years. I mean, we
Mhm.
haven't had 11 wins since 1991, 12 wins since 1991. So many records. Mikey Sammer still just got Rookie of the Week. I mean, there's so many new things. Terry McLaurin broke the record for receiving touchdowns. So there's just so much history that we made in this one season starting off. I mean, it's just crazy to see this, to see the Commanders go from where we came from a couple years ago. We were just a bad franchise, or even last year, to now where we have 12 wins and we're in the playoffs and we look
Mhm.
like a destination team.
Yeah, and again, like, well, players actually do want to come here. Like, when I saw that Marshawn Lattimore stuff at the beginning, I was like, I don't think he's gonna come here. I think the Chiefs, because Marshawn Lattimore wants a ring. I was
Mhm.
like, I think he wants a ring. So I thought that the Chiefs would actually jump the gun because. In my opinion, I feel like Adam Peters. Yes, he's had like interesting moves, like trading away Jahan Dotson, um, one of the receivers that we had, getting rid of, not rebuilding the offensive line, and just bringing in those guys on 1 year deals or guys who are rotational pieces. Like I honestly thought that Dorrance Armstrong, and this was like before the season began, Dorrance Armstrong and Bobby Wagner and who else? Dante Fowler weren't gonna amount to much at all, but he's had his moments. But in my opinion, it's been hit or miss because he could have, in my opinion, you can also chime in. I felt like Washington also could have improved their offensive line in the trade deadline as well. Um, you know, so I'm just shocked that the offensive line is at least decent, although
Mhm.
their backups are a little bit to be desired.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the offensive line, Jaden's made the offensive line look better. Cliff has helped that too. Cliff has done a great job scheming things up, and Jaden Daniels has just been a great job using his legs. I mean, right now we've struggled to run the football the last couple of games. I don't know if that's the offensive line or just Brian Robinson kind of slowing down off of just the wear and tear and some of the injuries he's had this year. But other guys have stepped up. Brandon Coleman's had a really good rookie season. Tyler Biotis has had a great year with his first year being here, but he's had a great career so far with Dallas and when he was with Dan Quinn a couple last year for the last couple of years. Wiley has played better. Sam Cosmi's been solid. Other than the penalties, has been really good. And Alec Gretty's been solid at times. We had a couple injuries where Michael Dieter had to play, and
Yep.
the Saints game he had to play, he had to start, and the Falcons game he played a little bit too. So yeah, some of the injuries have definitely been a struggle for us, but Jaden's been able to make it work, and Cliff has been able to scheme some things up. So yeah, the offensive line has definitely been up and down. But yeah, I mean, we made things happen. We made things shake. My biggest concern really is just the run game. Like I don't know what's been going on. If Chris Rodriguez needs
Well,
to play a little bit more, or McNichols, or whoever, but we need more of a run game than just Jaden Daniels having to run for 100 yards.
and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. With
Mhm.
what is your confidence level in the run game? Because I mean, the Bucks, their run defense is actually their strength this season, mainly because their corners and their secondaries have suffered major losses. So, what is your confidence in this running game against this run defense? Do you think that maybe Cliff Kingsbury schemes something up, like maybe gives Chris Rodriguez more of a chance? Because I feel like I'm just Brian Robinson. I don't know. Like ever since the bye week, he's just hit a because he was running wild in that Tennessee game, but after that, he just non-existent.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean, I really don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's kind of been worn down. He had the two fumbles against the Eagles where he guaranteed a victory, and we ended up winning that game, but he still had two fumbles in that game. The Saints game, he was okay at 60 yards, but nothing really explosive. The Falcons game, kind of the same thing, and then he struggled blocking where Jaden Daniels almost got hurt on that play. And then the Cowboys game, we weren't able to run the ball at all unless it was either Jaden running or Marcus Mariota running for a first down.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, clearly Chris Rodriguez has fresher legs and looks more explosive out there. He looked better in the Sunday Night Football game. And then you got McNichols. You should give him more touches, give him more of a chance. And yeah, Eckler, who just came back from the injury. So there's other guys, but like you brought up too, the Buccaneers, man, their run defense is insane, man. That's their identity with Vita Vea. Like they really stop the run. So I'm not going to be surprised if the running backs don't get many yards again, where they only get 40 yards on the ground. But Jaden
Mhm.
Daniels is going to have to run around and run off script and just make things shake, make something happen. So that's most likely what is going to happen against the Buccaneers, just because they're just a really good run defense. So I think I really don't see us getting a lot of yards on the ground this game.
Yeah. I mean, like they, and again, are like we were talking about, our offensive line is a bit shaky with Tyler Biotish was is questionable right now. Brandon Coleman should be fine from what I saw in the injury report, and then who else is hurt? I saw Brandon Coleman on the injury report too, but I think he
Mhm.
should be good.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna be good. Be honest, he's gonna be good too. So that's good news.
Oh, he gonna be good because I thought he was limited, so like the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
couple
so
of
that's
days.
good.
Um, and then like Terry McLaurin, again, Jaden Daniels not having that connection the last couple of weeks either kind of concerns me. And then you do at least Alameda Zacchaeus has stepped up, but he's also had like key drops where I feel like at least we've been able to overcome that, but we're in the playoffs. It's a whole new season, so I feel like if we get a drop or have like a heartbreaking big play that doesn't go our way, I feel like it's gonna determine the outcome of the game. What about you?
Yeah, they have to. This is a big game where all hands on deck. Guys got to catch the football. Yeah, for whatever reason, Terry and Jaden have been a little off. The Falcons game, Terry had one catch for 5 yards. The Eagles game, he had a big catch on the fake Guantanamo Bay, the Eagles corner. He caught a nice touchdown pass on him. So they had a connection there. But the Saints game, you look at it, they had two or three throws down the field where they just couldn't get on the same page, whether it was Terry dropping a pass or Jaden overthrowing them or underthrowing them. And they've had a great season together. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, but I just looking at the last 3 4 weeks, they've kind of been a little off. I don't know what it is, but they have to be ready for the Bucks game on Sunday night and connect because there's going to be opportunities. The
No,
Buccaneers
yeah,
they give up a lot of passing yards. They struggle against the pass. We talked about how good their run defense is, but just as good as their run defense is, their pass defense is gives up a lot of yards.
yeah,
So Terry Alameda had a huge drop against the Cowboys. De'Ami Brown had a really nice pass, but OZ dropped it. So we just don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of room for errors this game because the
no,
Buccaneers, their guys, Mike Evans, he doesn't drop passes. I know Marshawn Lattimore has done a great job against them. They got McMillan, Kate and guys like that. So they can score. They can put up points. So Oz's got to catch the ball. Crowder, Terry, of course, Zach Ertz. Like our receivers, they gotta step up, man. Luke McCaffrey, if he gets a chance, if he gets an opportunity, KJ Osborne, whoever it is, man, they gotta step up and catch the football. Same thing with Jaden. He's got to be on point on Sunday night.
I mean, for me, like I feel like Luke McCaffrey also special teams. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the like, I feel like in the Eagles game that he actually was doing nice with special teams, but they went away from that in the Falcons and the Cowboys game. So I feel like if he, put him on special, give it like if we can get short fields and also the play calling, because in that Eagles game, they had good field position in that first half, but they couldn't take advantage of it. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if Austin Eckler don't have him in the special teams unit at all, I think he's. What were your takes on his when he came back this past Sunday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what he saw. I thought he caught the ball well out of the backfield. He didn't play a lot. It looked like he was on a limited snap count, which was the smart move. They didn't want. I wouldn't put him on special teams either. I wouldn't have him kick off return kicks. He got injured returning a kick, so you want to keep him, as fresh as possible and just not in harm's way because, he's really good in the screen game. He's really good. He's like another receiver out there, man. He's an explosive play guy.
Hmm.
He's our yak guy. He leads the team in yak this year, even though he only played in 11 games, like he led the team in yards after the catch by like at least 100 to 200 yards. So, but no, I like what he saw. I like what I saw, man. He had a catch for a first down, and that's what we really need for him. We just need him to be a security blanket, catch the ball out of the backfield, get first downs, make guys miss. He had a good game against Tampa in the first game of the year too. So I'm happy to have him back, especially with, like I said before, B Rob is slowing down. So we need guys with fresh legs. And it looks like Eckler has fresh legs out there.
Yeah, Eckler. And then yeah, the receiving game. Um, On the defensive side, I feel like John Allen and Deron Payne, and this is more on for me for more John Allen, who's last year complained about losing a lot, and now he's finally on a winning team. I feel like if he and Deron Payne don't step up, I feel like they're on the chopping block, especially with Jazon Newton stepping in nicely when they were both out at one point, I think, or was it just John Allen that was out? I know that Deron Payne was out for a game or two.
Mhm. Yeah, John Allen had that pec injury, and it's crazy to have him back because a lot of people thought he was done for the year. So for him to come back is great to have. But like you said too, I mean, he's got to show up. They both got paid. They both got good contracts. Both first round picks. Both have been in the Pro Bowl before, top 100 players, and all the accolades, all that stuff. But it's time to put up or shut up, especially in the playoffs. Like we need these guys to step up. We need them to slow down the
Mhm.
run game. We need them to get pressure. Last time we played Baker Mayfield, we got a lot of pressure, but for whatever reason, Jonathan Allen wasn't able to wrap up. Deron Payne wasn't able to wrap up Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was running wild on us. He had a couple of first down runs. He was celebrating, showboating when he was getting first down. So those guys, they need to remember that. They need to remember that and use that as fuel to the fire. Like John Allen, Deron Payne, this is a huge game for them, man. I mean, one of them possibly could get traded. We've seen what Adam Peters has done with guys who were from different regimes or previous regimes. He's certainly moved on pretty quick. So I like those guys. I'm big fans of their game. I appreciate their games. They've been with the Commanders, Skins, Washington football team for years, but we need that production from those guys on Sunday night, man. Especially with
Yeah.
John, he loves to do the pregame speech and
Yep.
all that stuff. We need him to step up.
And they also need to stop. What's that running? Bucky Urban and
Oh
the
my
other guy.
goodness. Yeah, Bucky
Man,
Irving, Rashad White,
like
Sean Tucker.
man, like those guys. Like I'm sorry, but like with our run game also kind of being it's good at times, but then I'm like, okay, like I was like, when every single time I compliment the run defense, the next week they just turn around and just flop, and I'm like, where, like, I feel like they do better in that second half, like because they allowed Saquon Barkley to run all over them in the first half, and then they got their act together in the second half, and then Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier were able to run all over them in that first half, and they got their act in their second half. They gotta play they gotta play all four quarters here,
Hmm.
because the Buccaneers, they, yes, I know that they have like Mike Evans and decent wide receivers, but Baker, this offense, I feel like it's a little different. From games that I saw, they trust the run game over the pass game. So
Hmm. Yeah, they want to run it with Bucky a lot. The first game we played, I know you got to throw it out the window, but yeah, so we didn't do good on the ground with our run defense. We didn't do well through the year too. I mean, we gave a big plays to Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, but they're the heart and soul of their team. Baker's had a great year, don't get me wrong, but Bucky
mhm.
Irving is a huge part of their success, man. If we can slow down the run game and make them one dimensional, that would be a huge part of it. And that's been our Achilles heel this whole season. I mean, Bijan Robinson had a big game. A lot of the games, even the games that we've won, we've given up a bunch of rushing yards. I remember the
Yeah,
Cardinals game. James Conner had 100 yards on the ground, and Bijan Robinson just had 80, 90, 100 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. We still won. So in spite of that, but Sunday we got to contain Bucky. Like he cannot go crazy for 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown, two touchdowns. We gotta find a way. We gotta find a way to get stops, man. We gotta find a way. And this game, it could be a shootout. A lot of people think it's going to be a shootout. It could get to the 30s for both teams. It could be 38-31. I can see that happening. I think it's going to be a little bit low scoring. I think it's going to be around kind of like the low 20s, like 23-20, 23-17, something like that.
yeah.
But it could be a shootout. It could be a shootout. But the one thing you don't want to happen is to have Bucky Irvin running wild and get 150 yards and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns.
And also Dan Quinn. Again, he's impressed me because I remember when he got hired, and I said this on your channel. I wasn't that impressed with the hire, but
Hmm.
he's slowly but surely, proving all of us wrong, saying that he's fine. Although I don't mind going like us being near perfect on fourth down conversions is something shocking to me as well. What are your takes on the fourth down conversions? Because man, under Ron Rivera, this would have never happened. Being only missing three fourth downs in all like in all of the season, like I never saw that happen. Like he's actually him and Cliff are actually being smart with play calls. Like they're versatile. Like they don't try to do stupid cute gadget plays where they jet sweep and fail. What are your takes on Dan Quinn being successful on fourth downs, and um, do you think that the game will come down to a fourth down conversion?
Yeah, I think it's gonna come. I think the magic number is three fourth down conversions. I think we're gonna have to convert on three fourth down conversions on Sunday night. We've done an awesome job that you brought up, first in the league on fourth down conversions. Some of that is Cliff with the play calling, but most of it really is Jaden. You know, you can't really teach a lot of the things that Jaden does. I mean, the way the athleticism, the way that he's able to evade the rush and just make some shake and make guys miss at a phone booth. You look at the Eagles game, it was 4th and 11 or 4th and 14. He ran for a first down. 4th and 4, he ran for a first down. Third down, he ran for a first down. He juked Jalen Carter out of his shoes. So a lot of that, excuse me, has been Jaden Daniels. 4th and 3, 4th and 4. It's like you got to go for it because you always have a chance. The Falcons game, we had to go for it a couple of times, and Jaden Daniels found a way to get it and get the first down. So I think that's going to happen Sunday night, where there's going to be some decisions where it's like, hey, do you kick
Mhm.
the 49, 50-yard field goal here? Or do you put the pressure on the Buccaneers and keep going and get the first down to potentially get a touchdown? So, and the Lions like that too. The Lions, Dan Campbell, he goes for it a lot on fourth down. And when you have a good team, when you have good running backs, good receivers, you're able to do that. In this situation, we do have Terry McLaurin, and we got guys Zach Ertz and Eckler and B Rob at times to help out, but a lot of it falls on Jaden Daniels' shoulders. Like you know, him just getting out, going. They were like a power option on fourth down against the Falcons. So there's so many different things you can do with Jaden Daniels because of his dual threat ability and how good of a quarterback that he is. So yeah, if it's 4th and 5 or 4th and 4, and we're in Tampa Bay's territory on their 35 or really 40-yard, anything 40 yards and in, I think Dan Quinn's going to go for it, man. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think like this is also gonna be a game where third downs. Like this cannot be like week one because man, being behind the eight ball too, they cannot also be on third and nine, third and tens, 2nd and 25 on that
Hmm.
bad first call that they did with Jaden, like the first play of the game of week one. They also got to take care of the football, no fumbling, like we talked about with Brian Robinson. Um, what has been your take on uh, because it was brought out earlier today, Mikey Sanders still being named defensive rookie of the week. What are your impressions on him? Did you see this coming from him? And also, would you have rather Kool Aid McKinstry? Because I remember I was like, oh, I'm like I wanted Kool Aid McKinstry on it
Hmm.
before, and but then when we got Sainra still, and also the couple of guys that the Eagles got too, I'm like, oh, those guys are off the board too. Like I had no idea who Mikey Sainra still was.
Hmm. Yeah, Mikey's been impressive. He just won Rookie of the Week, and he beat out other guys like Bo Nix and Brian Thomas, Bucky Irving, like all those guys had great games. But that's also a testament to how great of a fan base we are. I mean, that we all. I voted for Mikey probably 10 times. Gene Daniels, he went on the social media and told people to vote for Mikey. I was like, yeah, say less, man. I'm definitely gonna go out there and vote for Mikey. Mikey's had a great year. I mean, he had 10. He had a bunch of pass deflections against the Cowboys on Sunday. He had 2 picks, which I believe is the leads the team with 2 interceptions. Had a excuse me forced fumble. I mean, they've tried him in so many spots. They tried him in the slot. They tried him outside. He's a great tackler. He's so physical. He's been somewhat of a vocal leader already on the team. Nick Saban said that he was going to be pound for pound the best player in the draft. So I mean, a lot of people loved him coming out. And he's just made big play after big play after big play as a rookie, man, coming out there. And we don't have a lot of depth at the quarterback position. You know, it's like Ben St. Juste and Noah Igbenogbe and Marshawn Lattimore hasn't really been healthy for the most part. So for a rookie to come in here and play like that, the Eagles game on Thursday Night Football too, he had a really good game against AJ Brown and against Devontae Smith too, where they tested him in the end zone, and he came up big. Even though he lost, he had a good game that game. So Mikey's been great, man. Like I know you brought up some other guys like Cooper DeJean and Kula McKinstry and other corners, and yeah, those guys are talented too, man. They're having good rookie seasons as well. But we definitely got a good guy in Mikey. I'm trying to look at some other like stats here for Mikey that I was looking at too because I wanted to make a video on my own channel. But yeah, I mean he's had 2 picks, not a lot of missed tackles, and 9 pass breakups on the season, which is 11th in the NFL for cornerbacks. So that's huge. When you got a guy that has a knack for being around the football, man, that's just what you're looking for. A guy that can come in and play the slide in the outside, man. They found a good one in the second round, and our second round picks in the past have not worked out. But I think the
Man,
second round curse is definitely going away.
I mean, the first round curse, man, because we got rid of the last 3 first round picks that we had.
Yeah, no, Jamin Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, Chase Young is gone.
Jahan Dotson.
John
Like,
Dotson, oh my goodness. Montez Sweat,
man.
he was a solid player. His Montez Sweat was a good player, but he's no longer here. So yeah,
Mhm.
all our first round picks for the most part are gone.
Well, like the last 6 years, or like only John Allen and Deron Payne are left, and
Right.
who knows if they'll be back
Mm-hmm.
next season. There was something that was addressed here. Okay. What about because the fourth down conversions,
Mm-hmm.
and the person someone here commented in the chat saying that he agrees with us being aggressive on fourth down, unless a field goal wins the game. But I feel like Jaden Daniels, because I think I think it was the Cowboys game where this past weekend where they could have like tied it to send it into overtime, but they didn't want for overtime. They were playing for the game. Also for the Falcons game, I was like, because they were running down the clock in overtime too. I was like, if they run this clock all the way down, they honestly could just win the game with the field goal. But they are more interested in getting touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like field goals, especially with Zane Gonzalez. I don't know if he's played in a playoff game before, but leave Zane Gonzalez out of it at this point because the kicking game has just been our downfall over the last 2 or 3 years as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kicking has been shaky. Austin Cyber, he had a hot start where he went 7 for 7 against the Giants and got NFC Player of the Special Teams Player of the Week, and then he misses the extra point against the Cowboys where Terry made a crazy pass to. I mean, Jaden made a crazy pass to uh, Terry McLaurin for an 86-yard touchdown, and then Austin Cyber misses the extra point. We had Cade York at one point, Austin Cyberts, Brandon McManus, who got released.
Released.
So
Now with
we've
Green
had
Bay.
about, what'd you say?
He's in Green Bay.
Yeah, he's in Green Bay. So we've had about 6 or 7 kickers on the roster this season, which is just insane to think about. I know this whole year, like across NFL, it's not just us. Like Justin Tucker for the Ravens has been bad this year. So there's been a lot of
And
bad
I mean,
kicking for the most part.
the kicker from the Eagles in that first game, he missed 2 kicks too,
Right.
and one
Yeah,
of them were and one of them was a cheap shot too. I was like, what?
right. Yeah, we signed Greg Joseph, who's terrible. We had to release him because he was so awful. So yeah, it's been tough. I mean, the weather in the weather hasn't mattered either. It's been good weather for the most part, and guys have
Mm-hmm.
still missed kicks. Tampa Bay is going to be around 50 degrees, I heard, which is really cold for Tampa, but of course warm for Maryland and DC. But it's supposed to be light rain, but still at the same time, like it's not any type of weather where it's super windy or cold or snowing, raining, or anything like that. So I mean, the weather is fine. Anything 50 and in, I really feel like Zane should make it, but even he's iffy with it. He's missed a 40-something yard kick. I mean, we just
Yeah.
that's a big reason why we got to go for it. That why we feel the need to go for it too is because can you really rely on the kicker to make a 45 or 40 or really anything above 50? I know it's tough, but still, I feel like in the weather on Sunday he should be able to make at least a 50 to 52-yard field goal. But yes,
Mhm.
and that's what I said too in previous videos. I do feel like some of the game is going to be huge on field goal kicking. I feel like there's going to be a 48-yard kick that we really, really need, and Zane's got to knock it down.
Yeah. What else did I want to? Oh, what is your predictions for? Because Marshawn Lattimore and
Mm.
Mike Evans have a rivalry. What is your predictions for Marshawn versus Mike Evans for this game?
Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is why we brought Marshawn Lattimore here. This is why Adam Peters traded a third-round pick and some more for Marshawn Lattimore. Those guys, they really dislike each other, man. This is an old school bar fight, WWE, UFC. I mean, they are ops. They are each other's biggest ops. They really hate each other. There was a stat where I saw where Marshawn he's just got the better of him. Marshawn has really won the matchup for the most part. Yeah, excuse me. It's from Jason McCourty. He says wide receiver Mike Evans has averaged only 2.6 catches for 43.6 yards in 13 games, head to head against Marshawn Lattimore. Mike Evans has also gotten ejected against Marshawn Lattimore. He's also been fined going up against Marshawn Lattimore. There's been times where Mike Evans has pushed Marshawn Lattimore out of nowhere twice, just coming out of nowhere because he's been so upset. So I think a big part of it is can Marshawn Lattimore get in under Mike Evans' skin? Can he get in his head like he has in the past couple of games? But at the same time, we don't want Marshawn Lattimore getting flags, pass
Yeah.
interferences, or getting thrown out of the game. Marshawn, I thought he did a solid job against AJ Brown. The only thing is, some of his, I thought it was a terrible call against AJ Brown where AJ Brown was tugging on Marshawn Lattimore's
Yeah.
jersey. I think Mike
Yeah.
Evans is going to try some of that stuff too. So Marshawn Lattimore has to be ready for that. I think Mike Evans is going to try some slick stuff. He's going to try to push off and grab a little bit and try to see what the refs do and what they call and whatnot. So a lot of it's going to be on the refs. How are they going to let these guys play? Are they going to be real ticky tacky and try to throw a flag at the drop of a hat, or are they going to let these guys be physical and kind of fight it out and duke it out?
I mean, I just hope that Marshawn also stays healthy because if
Yeah.
God forbid Ben St. Juice has to come in, I'm I'm debating on who's worse, Ben St. Juice or uh, what's his name, Michael Davis. I was live streaming that Falcons game, and like my friend was like, he's like, "Oh my God, can they get Michael Davis out of there?" I'm like, "Well, they got Ben St. Juice who's gonna do the same thing anyway." Like, I don't, I don't want to see, Ben St. Juice on that field. I mean, Noah I is also a guy that, ugh,
Mm,
I don't know. Like, he also gets penalties here and there as well.
mm,
I don't know. No, like again, like these Cowboys guys have been surprising to say the
mm.
least. Like no eye in the slot, pretty decent.
Ben St. Juice. Hopefully we don't see much of him. Hopefully we won't see a lot of Michael Davis. For the most part, you should be seeing Marshawn Lattimore and Mikey Sanders still, and Noah I out there. Noah I has had a solid season so far, probably the best season of his whole career. Um, excuse me. That Noah I has had. Noah I was a former first round pick. I know it doesn't matter anymore, but it's just intriguing to see that he was a former first round pick with the Miami Dolphins. It was more of a special teams guy with the Cowboys, and now over here he's had to play a lot of snaps and really step up for us. So I thought he's done a solid job. excuse me, this season so far. But yes, Ben St. Juice, Mike Davis. Thank goodness Marshawn Lattimore is healthy, so we don't have to see those guys on the field for the most part because they really struggle. Ben St. Juice last week he had 2 pass interferences. One pass interference I thought was a bad call, but now refs they call everything on Ben St. Juice because he has the
Yeah.
reputation of holding, pass interferences, face masks, any penalty you can name, he's been guilty of it. So right now, refs just they see 25 on the field and they're ready to throw a flag.
And here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like what happened to Ben St. Juste? Because yes, he would get like the calls on him like in seasons past, but he was pretty decent. It's just this year he just fell off. I was like, because I was a big fan of Ben St. Juste
Mm-hmm.
in the last few years, and I'm like, okay, have Ben St. Juste with if Dan Quinn wants to get some of these get some guys in here, that's fine, but he's been the weak link where like when I hear, oh, there's a flag on the field and it's in the secondary, I was like, okay, where was Ben St. Just at?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to that. It's gotten to that point right now. He doesn't force interceptions. The only interception he had was last year against the Falcons. We haven't seen a lot of the celebration that he likes to do. This thing, we haven't seen a lot of that because he hasn't really gotten a lot of stops for the most part. So yeah, if he can just keep his hands to himself, if he does have to play, if we do need him out there for 5 snaps this game, don't put him on Mike Evans. Just keep Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans the whole game. Have him follow, shadow. Really wouldn't put him on Jalen McMillan either. It's kind of tough to what spot you would put Ben St. Juste out there. But yeah, hopefully our top three guys are able to play for the most part.
Mhm. What I wanted to ask, do you think that Frankie Louvu's all right? Because he's actually popped up on the
Mhm.
injury report, and he gets nicked he got nicked a couple of times this season, but he's been fine. I feel like the two main weapons on this defense is Frankie Louvu and of course Marshawn Lattimore.
Mhm.
Without Frankie Louvu, I don't think Washington doesn't win this game, honestly, because he's been another one of those surprises. I mean, hats off to Dan Quinn getting Panthers guys too, like, and good Panthers guys, not the Ron Rivera guys that like are either washed or no names. Like Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin have actually stepped up.
Oh, right, 100%. Yeah, we have linebackers now. We have Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. I mean, we haven't had a good linebacker play in years. I mean, like you brought up Ron Rivera, he just wasn't able to get right. He drafted Jamin Davis at the wrong position. He drafted him to be a Mike linebacker when he's really an outside guy. And they brought in guys like John Bostic and Kevin Pierre-Louis and David Mayo and Cody Barton, who's had a good year with the Broncos, but it just didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out here. So yeah, Ron was just not able to get the linebacker position right. Bobby Wagner's had a really good year, and he's been a heck of a tackler. He's been solid in stopping the run. Uh, being a vocal leader out there, helping other guys be better. Frankie Louvu's been a dog. He's racked up on sacks. I think he has like 9 sacks on the season. He's been a tackling machine. He got a big interception against the Eagles. Should have had an interception against the Cowboys and he dropped it, but hopefully Sunday Night Football he doesn't do that and makes ball his life. But yeah, the linebacker core has been a drastic improvement from the last 4 or 5 seasons that we've seen of linebacker play. But yes, Frankie is on the injury report. I think he's going to play. Everybody's super motivated to play, but yes, he is. He was limited today, which excuse me, is a little concerning. But I definitely feel like he's going to play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to ask you. Did you see the clip of? I think it was Mikey who was like at the podium asking Jaden Daniels about facing him in college, and like I just think like the culture as well has
Oh
been a
man,
huge contributor, because like they're all like they get along. Like you don't even when they lose, like yeah, they're disappointed, but like it's not the blame game or Jonathan Allen going off on the media like he was like in years past. So like I feel like Dan Quinn has done a nice job cleaning up the culture as well.
yeah, we got a darn good culture for sure. The- yeah, the guys get along very well. Everybody likes each other. You see Jaden messing around with Bobby Wagner. They both went to the Wizards game a couple weeks ago. Everybody gets along well. You see the chemistry. Dan Quinn getting the guy, getting the guys riled up in our locker room. Sounds like Cliff Kingsbury wants to stay because he wants to stay with Jaden Daniels. Like we got coaches that want to stay here instead of getting head coaching jobs. So yeah, the vibes are really good. I mean, you look at other teams. You look at Tyreek Hill, who said that he wanted out of Miami. Like we don't have any of that going on right here in Washington. Other guys have stepped up when injuries have happened. Noah Brown went down. Alameda Zaccheaus has stepped up. Jameson Crowder has stepped up. The other guys have stepped up when injuries have happened. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like it is somewhat of a brother. Marcus Mariota has been a great mentor to Jaden
Oh,
Daniels
yep.
as well. So I mean, even some of the backup guys. You got Jeremy Reeves proposing to his fiance after the game, and Johnny Newton jumping in the stands. So the vibes are really high. The culture is darn good, and definitely, like I said, coming from where we came from the last couple of years, we look like a well-run organization. And it's about darn time. It's about darn time we have a solid owner, a good GM, and a really good quarterback. It's about darn time.
And also we're getting like media attention. Like, there are guys that pick. In years past, you would fill in the opponent here, like Eagles versus Commanders, like a few years ago. Oh, everyone's gonna pick the Eagles. Now everyone, like, they're picking the Bucks, but there's a select hand few like Dan Orlovsky and
Mhm.
I don't know who else, but like they're saying, oh, be careful with Washington upsetting because they're capable of doing it because of Jaden Daniels. So I feel like the media attention, like, it feels weird because like I'm like I really don't like all this attention and then them picking us, and then because when they would pick us and Washington would lose, they would go back to the bad mouthing of the team.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I'm starting to embrace the spotlight. The Sunday night football game that we got flexed to for the Falcons, and the Sunday night football game that we have coming up for the playoffs. The Bears game that got flexed to 4 o'clock. I'm starting to embrace the media attention and the national media loving us with a passion now. Anytime there's a star that may be made available via trade, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, the Commanders should trade for Tyreek Hill and Trey Hendrickson and all these other guys and stuff like that." So it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool that we're in the spotlight, but of course we have to really block out all the noise and just focus on our guys and focus on our eyes on the prize. And some of the media members, honestly, or national media, they pick us because they want us to, like Adam Rank, who's a huge Bears fan, and he's just a Washington Commanders hater. And we proved him wrong every game, every time we've stepped out there, we proved him wrong because he usually picks us to lose. This week, for whatever reason, he's picking us to win, and I think the only reason why he's picking us to win is because he wants us to lose. He's trying to jinx us. He has an ulterior motive. So we got to watch out for haters like that for sure. But yes, the national media, they recognize how good of a team we are, how dangerous we are, and a lot of the national media is picking us to be the Buccaneers.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, um, and they're saying that Baker Mayfield has experience. I mean, not to sell Baker Mayfield short, but he beat up on a Steelers team that was old. Beat Ben Roethlisberger when he was washed, and then he just beat up on Philly, who just fell off a cliff last season. So, do you think that you know that is also gonna we have the upper hand on that because you know he's actually gonna face legitimate competition this time around? I feel like.
Mm. Yeah, he's had a great season. 41 touchdowns, 16 picks. He leads the league in intercept, or I think he's like the top two in interceptions thrown. He's first in turnover worthy plays per PFF. So there's going to be opportunities to take the ball away and get interceptions. So guys have to be ready to catch the football. It is tough for him when you take away his first read, but he's played really good football. Or if you make him hold on to the ball too long and get pressure on him. So we really have to get interior pressure on Baker Mayfield, Deron Payne, John Allen, Johnny Newton. Those guys got to step up for sure. But yes, I respect Baker Mayfield. He's had a great season so far, 70% completion percentage, 41 touchdowns, 16 picks. He's got the receivers to do it too, like Mike Evans and McMillan, and he had Godwin for a little bit too. Kate Allen's a really good tight end, and Bucky Irvin's a good receiver. So He has the weapons to do it. I mean, he's had an up and down career too. I mean, he played for the Panthers. That didn't work out. Him and Sam Darnold were on the Panthers at the same time. Played for the Rams. That didn't work out. Played for the Browns. That didn't work out. So he's kind of had like a misfit career, and he's had a career resurgence here after Tom Brady left the Buccaneers. But and he's a solid scrambler. He had 68 rushing yards against the Saints. He had a bunch of rushing yards against us too. So Baker, he's a sneaky player. You know, he's a sneaky player. For the most part, he's had an up and down career, and he's played really good football with the Buccaneers the last couple years.
Yeah. Let me see. So, what are the key matchups aside from Marshawn Lattimore are that you're looking forward to in this game?
Of course, like you said, Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. But other than that, I would say Biotis versus Vita Vea, man. Just
Oof.
our
Oof, yeah.
interior offensive line, our interior offensive line against their interior defensive line. Is there a way that they could get a push where we can run the football, or not even just that, just holding up against their pass rush? They have another good pass rusher. I got to look at the things like Yaya Diaby. Yaya
Yeah.
Diaby, who did not play against he did not play against us in week 1, so he's going to be available excuse me, on Sunday night. So that's something they got to really be prepared for. Um, and then other matchups, maybe Terry versus Zion McCollum. We need Terry
Mm,
to win that matchup. They're probably going to try to double or bracket Terry McLaurin as well and send the kitchen sink at him. But we need Terry to really have a big game. We need him to have at least 5 or 6 catches easily. Like we don't.
yeah.
There's a statistic that shows when he catches the ball at least 6 times. I think we only lost 1 time when he catches the ball 6 times. So that's the magic number. Get him 6 catches, 10 targets, 6 catches. We need
Yep.
Terry to have a big game on Sunday night. So those are the matchups that I can really think of at this point. Other than of course the big Marshawn and then Mike Evans matchup.
And then, do you think Mikey will be draped all over? Who's the rookie that they got? McMillan. Like that's another matchup. I feel like that's like one of those like fly under the radar matchups as well. Whoever's going to be matched up against that rookie wide receiver that Tampa has as well, because he did burn Washington in that first game too. I think he got
Yeah.
like what 2 touchdowns in week
Yeah,
one.
so he had a touchdown. I know Emmanuel Forbes had a double penalty. He had a face mask and a pass interference on Jalen McMillan. Now I think Mikey will be matched up on Jalen McMillan since Marshawn would be following Mike Evans. But I think that will be our best option is to put Mikey on Jalen McMillan because Jalen McMillan is a really good player too. He has 8 touchdowns on the year, and yeah, he played really well against us the first game. So just like everybody's focusing on Mike Evans, we got to focus on Jalen McMillan too because he's a big part of their offense.
Yeah, like between me, I'm kind of happy that Chris Godwin isn't in this matchup because I
Me
feel like
too.
man, like if they had that trio, I would have said it was going to be another 2 to 3 possession game, but um, it is what it is. What other keys to victory do you have for this game?
Uh, I think as always, like I say, Dan Quinn's got to have a good analytical game as far as clock management, timeouts, when to throw the challenge flag, when not to, when to go for it on 4th down. I think all those things are going to be super huge. When to go for it on 4th down. We talked about that earlier, but I mean, that's going to be really huge. When to kick the field goal, when not to, when to punt. I mean, there's been a couple times where Dan Quinn or the 2-point conversion too, is there going to be a time where we need to go for 2? When is the best time to do that? When shouldn't you? And different things like that, different analytical decision making type of things that are going to be huge for me. But the biggest key, of course, is the offensive line, man, just protecting Jaden from Vita Vea and Jaden, just having that game plan, getting the ball out quick and beating their pass rush, getting the ball to Terry. Because I really feel like we're going to be able to throw the ball on the Buccaneers. So this should be a really good test for Jaden. But I feel like Jaden definitely should be able to move the ball on the Buccaneers defense.
I mean, if Cooper Rush was able to throw on the Buccaneers, Jaden Daniels should be able to. Just saying.
Mm. Oh
That's
man,
something.
yeah, Cooper.
Yeah, like
Spencer Rattler had a pretty good game last week too. The Buccaneers went down to the wire against the Saints. They really almost lost to the Saints last week.
yep.
I know we almost lost to the Cowboys too, but with Trey Lance, but still, it just kind of shows you that you can move the ball in their defense. You really can throw the ball in their defense.
Yeah. Speaking of, I know we touched on it, and Cliff Kingsbury shut it down when he was asked about head coaching jobs. When the season ends, do you think he goes somewhere, or like, do you think that we actually get a new OC for next season?
I think Cliff is going to stay this year. I think next year is going to be the year that Cliff does leave. I think Cliff really wants to be here. I think he likes working with Jaden Daniels. I know the Bears' job is available. Him and Caleb Williams were together at USC. The Saints' job is available. So I know there's going to be other teams that probably will reach out after this weekend, whether we win or lose.
Hmm.
But I think Cliff, honestly, I think he's still getting paid from the Cardinals too. That's a big thing. He's still getting paid from the Cardinals, so there's really no rush for him to jump into being a head coach. I think he likes and enjoys being a office coordinator. Now, I mean, one way that could help them probably keep him as an offensive coordinator is maybe give him a promotion to associate head coach or something like that. I mean, or
Hmm.
like pay raise or whatever. If he really is debating on leaving, and Dan Quinn really wants him to stay with Jaden, but I want to see Jaden have continuity with offensive coordinators too. It's not really fair to a quarterback when they have a different offensive coordinator every single year. They got to learn a new system and just
Yep.
new terminology and whatnot. But also, like we brought up earlier, they do have some guys that could potentially replace Cliff Kingsbury and still be, I feel like, still do a good job. Like Anthony Lynn, who's our run game coordinator. He was offense coordinator with the Lions. They have Tavita Pritchard, who's the quarterback's coach. I thought he's done a good job with Jaden Daniels. And they also have Brian Johnson, who was with the Eagles last year, who was the offense coordinator with the Eagles too. So there's three guys that you look at on the coaching staff that could come in and definitely, help out at the offense coordinator position.
Yeah. I mean, Brian Johnson again was let go because of the fall off.
Mhm.
So I feel like keep him away.
Right, right. Yeah, he's not my first choice. He's not my first choice. That is true. It's true. So, but if they do if they have to go out of house and get somebody else, I feel like Dan Quinn would do a great job finding somebody.
Uh, Let me see here. Do me a favor. Do you have the ability to see the chat? Because I can't keep up
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Kenny Jackson said, Ed, I'll be at the game. 12th man, section 336, we wrote SC3, HTTR, held to the skins. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, man. It's gonna be a great environment. I think a lot of fans are gonna I think a lot of Commanders fans are gonna be there.
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel
a
like
lot of Commanders fans
it's
are gonna take
yeah.
over the stadium, and I talked about the Buccaneers fan base. Like they don't have a bad fan base or nothing wrong with their fan base, but they're not like an NFC East team.
Mm-mm.
They don't really travel like NFC East teams travel. And I think, we've taken over their stadium before. I know when we beat Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Buccaneers, we took over their stadium. There's been a couple of times where there's been a big showing of Commanders fans in Florida and Tampa Bay. So, yeah, definitely, Kenny, man, hold it down, man. Enjoy yourself. I mean, it's going to be a lit atmosphere for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Sunday night football game. We haven't missed it to the playoffs since 2020, and you get to see Jaden Daniels play in person too. So, I mean, that's going to be awesome, Kenny.
We also don't have Taylor Heineke at quarterback.
The legend of Taylor Heineke. Right.
It's
Diving from the pylon.
yeah. How many like let's do some interesting predictions here. How many yards rushing do you think Jaden will have, and how many yards passing?
I'm gonna say 60 yards on the ground for Jaden. And then passing wise, I was thinking about 250 yards passing, and then 60 yards on the ground. I could definitely see a lot more than 60 yards on the ground because he's been having to run so much the last couple of games. I mean, he just had
Mhm.
100 yards against the Falcons and a bunch of yards against the Eagles. So um, I would stick. I would stay the safe stat is about 60 and then 250 yards, and I would say two or three touchdown passes. Probably two.
Does he get a rushing touch? Because I think the first game he had like two
Yeah,
rushing touchdowns.
yeah, yeah. He did. He did. He had two rushing touchdowns. B. Rob had a touchdown as well. So yeah, definitely. I think he gets a rushing touchdown. I really do.
Right. And then do you think that Marshawn gets an interception or not?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. It's gonna be close. I think it's a couple of pass breakups and a couple of pass deflections, but I don't think he's gonna get an interception on Sunday. But I do think next year he's gonna get at least two or three.
I just hope that he doesn't get ejected. I feel this
Yeah, me
Mike
too.
Evans. I don't know, man. This Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. Now that we have Marshawn Lattimore, why do I feel like it's gonna be Josh Norman OBJ esque?
Right, right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's easy to see that happen. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where it is like an Odell versus Josh Norman, where guys are just fighting and pushing each other the whole game, talking trash, all kinds of stuff. And I love that matchup, man. I love it with a passion. And I know Odell. That one year we played him when he was with the Giants, he pushed the kicking net, and the kicking net fell back in his face. So I mean, that's what I'm hoping. Something like that. I don't wish any harm on Mike Evans, of course, but if something like that happened, that would be great to see. And yeah, we don't want Marshawn to get ejected. We don't.
No.
But if one of them got ejected, both of them most likely would be getting ejected because that's just the way it's going. That's the way it's
Mhm.
going. And, I think Mike Evans one time got ejected and Marshawn Lattimore stayed in. So, but yes, we need Marshawn to get under his skin, get in his head, get him flustered, get him off his game, do anything that he needs to do to get the job done.
Yeah. Another question I wanted to ask you. I mean, me personally, I'm happy that we got Tampa. I would have been fine with LA. I know that you said on your channel that you also wanted Philly. I mean, Terry McLaurin, like he got the safety ejected from that game. So if like Terry,
Mm,
like 'cause I don't even know what Terry did to like frustrate the guy. So if Terry can get whoever else is covering him uh flustered or frustrated, I'm all for that too.
mm. Yeah, yeah. De'Ami Brown and CJ Gardner Johnson got into a bit, and then Gardner Johnson got pushed by De'Ami Brown. He got a personal foul um for whatever he said. I don't know what he said, but he got a personal foul for that. Um, yeah, I mean they just have to. Marshall has to keep a level head against Mike Evans, but still, of course, do what he's got to do, play his game, get under his skin, talk trash, and that's Marshall Lattimore's game. That's in order to be a really good cornerback, you have to be very very confident. And
Mhm.
Marshall Lattimore talks a lot of trash apparently, and Mike Evans talks a lot of trash too. So this is just it's a great matchup, man. It's definitely a get your popcorn ready matchup, pay per view almost. It is pay per view a
Yeah.
little bit because some people have to pay for Peacock, that channel and whatnot, and I mean paying for
Mhm.
cable anyway. But yeah, this is probably the best quarterback wide receiver matchup of the year.
As long as he doesn't get burned, or gets flagged for holding.
That's right.
Um, to wrap up the stream here, what is your score prediction?
I have 23-17. I have a little bit low scoring, lower than what a lot of people think. I see a lot of people saying 38-31 or 30-27, which definitely is realistic. Like that could happen. I think both defenses have their flaws, and both quarterbacks are having great seasons. Baker's having a great season, and Jaden's he's had a heck of a season. Both offenses can really, really, really move the ball, and both defenses, like I said, have their flaws. So I have it 23-17 as of right now.
Um, winning or losing?
I have us winning. I have us going into Tampa. I have us, repeating history 20 years ago In 2005, we won, and I think we break the curse of losing playoff games, and we finally win a playoff game.
Hey man, I know that you and your guys didn't like it, but when I put in that super chat about being the Russian judge, but I think I gotta do it again. I do think that I'm gonna say 27-20 Tampa. I feel like Washington's gonna be forced to come from behind, and like something's gonna happen where it's gonna have to be a Hail Mary situation. It's gonna be like that Dallas Cowboys game,
Mm,
um, when he threw it up there in hopes to get that touchdown, but he didn't get it. So I feel like it's gonna be that type of finish, and the streak will continue. But again, I hope I'm wrong, and they've actually proved me wrong this year. So we'll see.
yeah, they got to get off to a fast start. They can't start off down 7-0 or 10-0, 17-7
No, they
like
cannot.
they did against the Falcons. The Buccaneers are 9-1 when they score first or start fast. So we really have to jump out to a fast start.
Yeah. I mean, what I think is also concerning, and I saw this stat on ESPN, is that Washington is 1-4 against the teams in the playoffs. I feel um, I don't know, I feel like again, it's a feel good story, but we'll see.
Mm.
We'll see how it goes. Hoping that I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah, yeah, no, I don't want you to be right. I don't want you to be a Russian judge to be right.
Wait, give me 1 second here.
Mhm.
Is there anyone else in the chat or anything else that we haven't addressed in the chat?
No, I think that's it. I
All
think
right.
that's it.
Well, thanks, man, for doing this. It was a lot of fun catching up and doing this rare playoff stream. Again, one of many. Hopefully,
Right.
maybe Monday, it's a celebration. Um, like again, I never thought that 12 wins was a thing. I owe my guy Jason some money because he basically said you all are gonna get 12 wins, and I was like, I don't think so. 9 at best, and he was right. So, and I was wrong.
Yeah, no, Jason's he's a psychic, man. I mean, that's the only way I could see that somebody predicted 12 wins. But I like it. I love it.
Yeah. But again, thank you for coming on my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in, and um, we're going to the playoffs. Yeah. Um.
Else.
Yep. Have you guys a good evening.
Peace.